34-year-old Tamika Triplett is behind bars after she allegedly showed up to school to fight her son and chase kids with a knife. On Thursday the 9th of February, police were called to the Booker T. Washington High School in South Memphis, Tennessee, after Tamika allegedly parked in the school's lot and ran towards students with a knife. A school official then pepper sprayed Tamika and her son to stop them from fighting. Tamika was arrested and charged with carrying a weapon on a school property and tampering with evidence. She's held at the Shelby County Jail on a $50,000 bond. Her son received a juvenile summons and is now in his aunt's custody. A man is behind bars after allegedly fatally shooting another man in Amory, Mississippi Tuesday evening. At around 6:30 p.m. on the 7th of February, authorities responded to the intersection of J Avenue and 111th Street on reports of shots fired. When officers arrived, they found a man with gunshot wounds, with no suspect in sight. Medics transported him to the local hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival at 6:51 p.m. The Monroe County coroner identified the victim as 34-year-old Dennis Izell. Investigators received multiple tips from witnesses and identified 40-year-old Jermaine McIntosh as the suspect. Law enforcement began searching for Jermaine, and he soon turned himself in without incident, and the weapon was recovered. Police Chief Ronnie Bowen said that the victim and the suspect met at the intersection near Jermaine's home when multiple shots were fired, and the victim was hit at least once. Ronnie said that there had been an ongoing dispute between Jermaine and the family of the victim. He said that the shooting was not a drive-by or a chance encounter. Jermaine is charged with murder and is held at the Monroe County Detention Center on a $300,000 bond. The investigation into the matter continues. A woman and a teenager have been arrested a week after a fatal shooting of 35-year-old London Rupert in Macon, Mississippi. 20-year-old Yambashay Bush and a 17-year-old boy are both charged with murder. Authorities have not released the teen's name because of his age. On the night of the 3rd of February, London was driving an SUV along Martin Luther King Jr. Drive when he was shot in the head. Police said the gunfire came from the side of the street and not inside the vehicle. London was transported to the Jackson Hospital in a critical condition, where he later died. Yambashay and the unidentified teen remain in jail without bond. The motive behind the attack is unclear, as the investigation into the matter continues. On Thursday the 9th of February, 42-year-old Brian Welcome was arrested for fatally shooting 41-year-old Eric Dougherty. The shooting occurred at just after 3 a.m. on the 28th of November, when authorities responded to a home at 20867 Walnut Street in Denali, Florida on reported homicide. When deputies arrived at the premises, they found Eric dead in a living room. Investigators identified Brian as the suspect, but he fled the scene before deputies arrived. Witnesses said that Brian went to the home to hang out with a friend, where there were multiple people inside, and that Brian was reportedly under the influence of drugs. Brian was sitting at the table in the home's living room when Eric was sleeping on a couch nearby. Then, in an act described by one witness as cold-blooded, Brian suddenly stood up without provocation and shot Eric twice, once in the leg and another in the stomach, fatally wounding him. A witness told investigators that he thought about taking the gun from Brian, but he was concerned for his life. He said he willingly drove Brian away from the house after the shooting because he was scared he would shoot him too. The Marin County Sheriff's Office said that Brian had 21 prior felony convictions. Brian is charged with murder and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. He is held at the Marin County Jail without bond.